We're taking you with us on a 2-day, 1-night cruise sailing through the beautiful Halong Bay on board a 4.5-star cruise ship. We booked our trip to our hotel in Hanoi, and we'll be posting a review of that hotel on Tuesday, so stay tuned for that. We were picked up by the tour company around 8 in the morning, and we were transported to the cruise port in about 4 hours. And the company provides a VIP bus pickup, so the drive was super comfortable with lots of leg space and even an adjustable seat. And after some necessary and one unnecessary stop at a Pearl Farm souvenir shop, we made it to our tender boat in about 4 hours. And from here on, it was about a 30-minute boat ride to our actual ship. We learned that there are just so many cruise ships offering tours in the Halong Bay that not every ship has permission to dock at the actual cruise port. So many companies use these tender boats to get you over to the ship. And we for sure enjoyed this little preview of the Halong Bay. And before we knew it, we were waved hello by the staff and were welcomed aboard. And before we checked into our rooms, we were served a really extensive and delicious lunch. And we got some fresh Vietnamese spring rolls, a light and fresh chicken and orange salad, some calamari with stir-fried vegetables, and a curry potato cake thingy. Honestly, I can't really remember what that was anymore. But the food just kept on coming, and after a while, we were so stuffed that it was impossible to eat more. In the meantime, we had set sail and were enjoying the Halong Bay right from the window. Then it was time to visit our room, and to get to our room, we had to go one floor up, and we booked a double room with a balcony, although I believe every room has one on this ship. And also good to know that most tour packages in Vietnam are sold in US dollars, and we paid about $159 per person for the 2-day, 1-night cruise, including transportation by bus, for meals, activities. And as always, we are greeted by the lovely Lawrence. And if we go straight ahead and take a look at the view of our room, you'll notice there's a little glass sliding door. I didn't notice it was already open, so forget you saw that. We had this little balcony to sit on and watch the bay pass by, or other cruise ships in this case. And the ship we're on is actually one of the smallest, and we prefer this because it's usually more relaxing if there are fewer people. So that was really a bonus for us. And then onto the room. So we booked a double bed and slept pretty well. It was only for one night, so no complaints about that. And as always, we asked for an extra blanket, and luckily that was not a problem at all. And here we see Lawrence desperately staring outside the window, wondering where all those likes and subscribers are. So if you can help him out, please do. Then we go on to the bathroom. And again, we found ourselves having a glass sliding door, which has really become a trend for us to find in our rooms that we book. But there's also a curtain for some privacy. So here we have the shower, and it looked really nice with the colored tiles. And I have to say that the water pressure was surprisingly good for being on a ship. We haven't been on a cruise ship before, so we wouldn't know what it's normally like, but we were really pleasantly surprised. Then for the last part of the room, we go over to the closet space, where you are reminded that you are in fact on a ship. And you'll find a torch, a hammer, some life jackets, and there's also a safe in case of pirates, probably, and a mini fridge. And the drinks inside were for sale, but we found it a little expensive with about $4 per soda, so we didn't drink any. Okay, we brought our own, but still. And there was also air conditioning in the room, should it be really warm if you're there. Then if you go one more staircase up, you'll find yourself on the deck, where there is a bar and a really large sun deck. And we were very lucky to do this cruise on a clear day with a temperature of around 20 degrees Celsius. Because if you remember the video of the time that we stayed on a floating bungalow in Khao Sok, rain can really impact your experience, even in such an impressive environment. So we were very lucky and we're enjoying it a lot. And sure, it was a little too cold for our liking to go swimming or do some sunbathing, but it was super pleasant weather and we really enjoyed the surroundings. After settling in, however, it was time for an excursion. We boarded the tender boat once more and went to the dark and bright cave. And on our way, we spotted a local lady selling snacks and drinks from her own boat, which we thought was very clever. And later we saw many more local vendors going up to cruise ships to sell their goods, so they got a good business going on, it seems. And when we neared the caves, we were seated on a rowboat and were shown around the cave area. And the water's just really super clear and the caves were very low hanging, so that was a nice experience to have. The visit to the caves took about 1.5 hours, and after that we were brought back to the ship. In the evening we had some drinks at the bar, but we didn't have much time to relax because it was time for our next activity, create your own spring roll. And well, this is how it went.
Go Laura, roll that spring roll. And the result, it's actually quite good.
And dinner was after that, and we didn't realize that dinner was going to be very extensive again, so we already ate a lot of spring rolls. But again, it was really delicious and it was very light and fresh. Lots of seafood, like oysters, prawns, and salmon. So, really good dinner there. And if you think that the activity stopped right there, you are wrong, because after that it was time for karaoke. But fortunately, there's no footage of that, so you'll have to use your imagination. Then the next morning we woke up admiring the Halong Bay. But we noticed a lot of plastic waste floating in the water, presumably from one of the many ships in the bay, and it's really sad to see that if you're surrounded by so much natural beauty. So hopefully some action will be taken to make sure that the water doesn't get that polluted, because it's really a shame. But then the reason we were up so early is because at 6:15, our day on the ship started with Tai Chi. It took some time to get the steps and hand movements right, but it was actually a very nice and relaxing way to start the day. I do imagine this would look funny if you would put some different kind of music under it. So after Tai Chi, we gathered again in the dining room for what the crew described as a light breakfast. But to be fair, it was ample. Like, I don't need to eat that much for breakfast, especially at 6 in the morning. But they had lots of options, so very nice way to start the day. And then after breakfast, we relaxed a bit in our room and started packing our stuff again because the tour was already close to ending. But before it ended, there was brunch. Yes, we had a brunch at 9:30 prior to checkout, and you could argue it was second breakfast. But again, there were lots of options to choose from, with fresh spring rolls and noodles, some stir-fried vegetables, lots of options. So after this brunch or second breakfast, we handed in our keys and boarded the tender boat again to go back ashore and get on the bus that would bring us back to our hotel in Hanoi. But not before we were waved goodbye by the crew. We really enjoyed our overnight cruise, and we were happy that we chose this one as we found it was really good value for money considering the room we had, all the included activities, and the food. Lots of food was there. We do advise to bring some snacks and drinks or to purchase them from the local vendors as the prices on the ship are pretty steep. We want to thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more, subscribe to us at Just and Explore. Bye!